Wonder Woman is the latest addition to the DC Cinematic Universe, and it stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, and is directed by Patty Jenkins. In this film, we see Diana's, aka Wonder Woman's, origins. How she grew up on Paradise Island, an island filled with Amazonian women, where no man has ever stepped foot. She grows up learning to become a warrior until one day a spy, played by Chris Pine, fleeing Germans in World War I, crash lands in the water near the island. Diana rescues him, and finding out about the war that's going on, she decides to go with him to London and fight to help end this war. Now, I'm a big superhero movie fan. I love the comic book movies. I've read a couple comics here or there. I'm mostly into the movies. And while Marvel has been doing really good with their cinematic universe, DC Cinematic Universe has been not so freaking great. I mean, okay, so far we've had Man of Steel, which is complete dog turds. We had Batman v Superman, which was meh. You know, it had things I liked. I liked Ben Affleck as Batman. And Henry Cavill did a better job in that movie than he did in Man of Steel. You know, it was slightly better made. It's just, it wasn't very good. And then Suicide Squad, which is the best of the three, so it's been a trajectory that's gone up, but very slowly up. Suicide Squad's a complete editing mess, but it is a watchable mess, I guess. I mean, it's whatever. It's meh. Also, so I went into this movie kind of thinking, okay, hopefully this will be good, but then, or, you know, leading up to this movie, but then the reviews started coming in saying this movie's great. It's like, oh, maybe this has a chance, maybe. Well, so I went in kind of mixed feelings about it, you know. It's like, okay, maybe this will be DC's really good movie, but I don't want to get my hopes up too high. And I gotta tell you guys, I was very happy with this film. This film has taken the DC universe and put it back on track. Like, it's a solid film. I'll get into the reasons why and my rating, not giving anything away, but I mean, it's a very solidly made film. I gotta credit the success of this movie to Patty Jenkins, whose only other film was the film Monster, that was nominated for a lot of Academy Awards, including winning Charlize Theron's Best Actress Award for playing a female serial killer. I haven't actually seen the movie. I want to really bad, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But her directing here is really good. Like, the way she directs the characters and just moves the story forward. It's very much, one thing about this film, I liked how the pacing is. You know, it's very well paced in a sense of, we're going to take our time and learn about Paradise Island and see Wonder Woman as a kid growing up and stuff. We get to see her learning how to fight. And it felt very organic. It didn't feel like, you know, your run-of-the-mill origin story, where it's like, okay, here's the scene where this happens, and now here's the scene where that happens. It felt very much like Patty Jenkins came in there wanting to tell this story. I actually found out that she was heavily inspired by Superman the movie, which was funny because in the theater when I watched this, I was thinking, that's kind of like the first Superman movie, Richard Donner one. Oh, she was inspired by it. Well, good on me for eyeing that, because there's several similarities. It's, you know, again, you know, the slow build of, we see her as a youngin' and then growing up, and then she, you know, goes and has her first use of her powers eventually. We even have a scene that's a direct homage to Superman that a lot of people pointed out. It's when her and Chris Pine later on, when they're in London, they go down this alley and they're being chased by some Germans. I almost said Nazis, but this is World War I. Germans, German spies, and basically one of them shoots at her, and it's the scene where, you know, in Superman the movie, Superman blocks the bullet from hitting Lois. Lois doesn't see it in that movie. In this movie, Chris Pine does. But basically, yeah, it's that nice little moment. It's very classic, and I loved seeing that here. This movie does have a lot of that classic superhero feel, which I found really quaint in a very nice way. Like, I really enjoyed that. It's like, yeah, it's like Patty Jenkins brought this movie back to comic book film roots in that way. And while I wouldn't say it's as good as Superman the movie, I mean, that's like a top 10 comic book movie favorite of mine. I really like that movie. Or, you know, but it's like the first Batman, the Tim Burton Batman movie. Or the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. A lot of those where you'll have those scenes where they stop a mugging or a robbery or something, you know? And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, and then there's more of the, you know, it's kind of like putting the hero back in superhero, I guess. I don't know. I just felt like it was very classic. There's a lot of classic moments in this, even though, of course, it does have the a bit of that Zack Snyder DC Cinematic Universe feel, but it doesn't go so far into that where it's distracting. It feels like its own thing, its own just one-off movie that has a connection to a bigger universe, which was awesome to see. Another thing I want to mention is, you know, before I get too far, this is the first good female comic book film, honestly. I mean, discounting when you have someone like a Black Widow or Scarlet Witch or Storm in like an ensemble group, discounting that, solo female superhero films have really sucked. I mean, you had a Supergirl film in the 80s, you had movies like Elektra, Catwoman with Halle Berry, Tank Girl, of course, let's not forget that classic. That might actually be the best one of those four. That's saying something. So yeah, it hasn't really bode well for those, unfortunately, and that is unfortunate. And, you know, Wonder Woman, it's kind of funny that it took so long for this movie to come out, when you think about it, because there's like a really, you know, the, of course, popular 70s show, with Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, way back in the 70s. I just said that. And, yeah, that was, and honestly, I watched the first episode of that show, and it is fun. Can't be fun. From the 70s. Kind of like the Incredible Hulk TV series. That was can be fun too. But anyway, it's nice that there is one that's actually good. And another thing, and I alluded to this in my Aliens review, sort of as a joke, but seriously enough, but I kind of prodded the Ghostbusters 2016 dead horse. I pointed out that Aliens, unlike other movies that have come out more recently with female heroines, doesn't bash the, you know, everyone else who isn't Ripley, you know, especially the men. You know, unlike Ghostbusters Remake, where, watch that movie again, or don't, but if you do, it's kind of weird that, like, every guy in that movie is either a villain, an asshole, or a straight-up moron. It's a little odd, I guess. You know, and it's kind of like, okay, is that necessary kind of thing? That's not, I mean, you want equality, guys? That's not really equality, guys. Sorry. It's not how it works. This movie doesn't do that, which I appreciated. There's a couple moments where it could have taken that turn, you know, and then with worse writing. That's the thing. That's a big part of it, too. The writing's just really obvious, really bad, and it's like, oh, yeah, we get it. Yeah, thank you. This movie doesn't do that. This movie isn't, you know, that flavor of, like, feminism or sexism or whatever. There's a moment, and I want to talk about the scene, I might as well just talk about this now. There's a moment in the film where Chris Pine and Wonder Woman are going through these trenches, and they come across this place, No Man's Land. And, you know, that's a a war term for an area that no one can cross because there's machine guns on both sides, you know, just turrets. No one can get across. You'll die instantly. Of course, Wonder Woman being a superhero, she's able to, and it's an awesome scene. But right before she goes up this ladder and starts walking, Chris Pine's like, no man can get across. And in my head, I was just like, Don't say the Return of the King line. That worked in Return of the King, but it won't work here. Please don't say some line like, well, I'm no man. I really have expected her to say that. She doesn't. It's a very reasonable line, which is, but it's what I have to do. Which is 100 times better than any sort of forced, well, I'm better than you because I'm Wonder Woman, or whatever the hell that would be. It's so much better than that. Thank God. That felt like a genuine moment. And then, of course, the No Man's Land scene, which is the scene everyone's going to be talking about, is fantastic. It's that moment in an origin story, in an origin superhero movie, where the hero really starts unleashing their powers for the first time. And she's blocking bullets left and right. She's taking out all these guys and with her sword and her shield and her whip. And it is so really well filmed. It's a well filmed action sequence. The cinematography in this movie is beautiful, by the way. It's not dark and like dirty like Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad. It's actually it's lighter than that. I mean, it's a little dark, but it's not distractingly dark. I will say Chris Pine does a lot of stuff. Some of the other side characters don't really, which is kind of unfortunate because it's sort of like, well, I wish they did a little more, because otherwise it's like, why are they there? Especially in the finale. Chris Pine does something, and I'm obviously not going to go into spoilers here, because it's a new movie, why would I do that? Chris Pine does stuff, but these other guys, they don't really, it's kind of unfortunate, because it's like, they're just kind of along for the ride then. I think it's just a matter of the screenwriter just couldn't think of anything for them to do, so they just sort of ducked down behind a wall while Wonder Woman fights the villain, who I obviously won't spoil who that is. But I will say the villain was fine. It could have been better. I think the fight could have been a little more, I guess not the fight, maybe just the villain itself could have been a little more interesting. The villains are sort of like, mankind sucks. Humanity sucks. I want you to help me kill everyone. And doing a great villain is tricky, so I'll give him that. It's rare in comic book movies where you have a good villain. Fortunately, this movie doesn't require there to be a great villain because much like Superman the movie or Iron Man, it is a superhero character piece. Origin story. So it's not a big black mark on this movie or anything like that. It's just something I was kind of like, oh, the villain, it was kind of like, oh, that's who the villain is, okay. It's fine. It has a cool enough fight sequence. There is a cool fight sequence, so it makes up for it. I just wish the villain had a little stronger motivation. That's pretty much all it is. For the most part. But, yeah, and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I was one of those people that was kind of, I guess, I wasn't hating the idea of her being Wonder Woman or anything, but I was sort of like, supermodel, being an actor, that's an iffy prospect. It's like when wrestlers or sports players try to be actors. Sometimes you get The Rock, other times you get Hornswoggle in Leprechaun Origins or something. I mean, you say a supermodel who's going to be an actress, and my brain goes to Megan Fox. So, that's unfortunate. But you know what, Gal Gadot, she can act well enough. She's well enough for this movie. She doesn't have to do a lot of dramatic acting. I wouldn't necessarily pick her for a dramatic piece, but as Wonder Woman, she works as this character pretty well. So she's not bad. She's good. She is good, and she's a good actress for this role. So, props to her. She played the character pretty well and believable. They also do that fish out of water story, but in this, it's not like Thor, where it's like they go a little too long on the fish out of water stuff and have a little bit too many jokes about that. It's the perfect amount where it doesn't become annoying or get like, okay, can we just get to the point? Can we get to the war? It's actually done really well. It's honestly really funny, which is great. I mean, there are funny things in Thor, like, of course, when he breaks the goblet or the cup and says, I like this. Another! And yeah, there's that. But it's not, it's better than Thor, is what I'm trying to get at, in that way. And yeah, they did a good job of that. The script, I want to compliment that. I want to compliment the script because a good director is obviously the most important thing, but you also need a great script. And this is a pretty solid script. I think this is actually a solid script, which really got me invested in this character. For the directing, of course, and everything else that was brought into it. I was invested, truly, really liked this character, and I want to see a Wonder Woman 2 movie, which I didn't really expect going into this movie, which is really nice. I really enjoyed this movie. I recommend people check it out. I'm going to give Wonder Woman 4 stars. I could see myself raising that to 4.5 on rewatch, but I've only seen the movie once, so I want to at least be a little bit more, fair. It's not like Superman the movie or Batman 89 where I've seen it many, many times so I've had more time to ruminate on it. Once I've seen it a few times, who knows. But for now, it's a strong 4-star movie. So that's my review of Wonder Woman. I'm going to try to get more of these reviews out to you guys. But if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and see you later.